Hi guys, welcome back to the news. The Samoa Agreement has been a subject of controversy in Nigeria amid claims that the agreement signed by the federal government contains a clause that mandates lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights. That's the LGBTQ rights. Recall that the European Union and member states came together to sign partnership agreement, which was referred to as the Samoa Agreement on November 15, 2023. And the member states that signed that agreement, which seeks to address global challenges, are called the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, also known as the OACPS. Now we know that this Samoa agreement has generated a lot of controversies, and following a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by 88 members of the House of Representatives, they've called on the federal government to suspend the implementation of the Samoa Agreement until all controversial clauses are thoroughly addressed and clarified. Representative Aliyu Madaki, who moved the motion during today's plenary, called on his colleagues' attention to a particular clause on gender equity, also describing it as a potential Trojan horse that could contravene the country's moral values. And now he said the clause has raised significant concerns, with critics interpreting it as a possible recognition of the LGBTQ rights, which conflicts with Nigeria's strict anti-same-sex marriage laws, enacted in 2014 under the then-President Goodluck Jonathan. The Samoa Agreement signed between Nigeria and the EU aims to improve and enhance food security, to foster inclusive economic development, among other crucial areas. However, its provisions have sparked a wave of online backlash, primarily focused on the perceived inclusion of the LGBTQ rights. At a press conference on Saturday, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Badugu, alongside the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, reassured the public that Nigeria would not enter any agreement that contradicts the constitution or the cultural and religious sensibilities of its diverse population. Now, the Samoa Agreements signed last November by the European Union and its 27 member states and 29 member states and 79 member states of the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, aims to equip the parties better to address global challenges such as climate change, ocean governance, migration, health, peace, and security. And Nigeria signed that agreement on June 28, 2024, although it came to the public attention recently following the minister's article's disclosure. And in that document, the Samoa Agreement is majorly a partnership agreement and more like a vital legal framework for cooperation between the EU, the European Union, and its member states on one hand, and the members of the OACPS on the other. And this agreement, called the Samoa Agreement, was called the Samoa Agreement because it took place on the island of Samoa in Oceania during the 46th season of the ACP-EU Council of Ministers. And this agreement was signed by Nigeria and other member states and is based on 6 key priorities to tackle the main challenges in the member countries over the next 2 decades. And the priorities included human rights, democracy, governance, peace, security, human and social development, inclusive, sustainable economic growth and development, environmental sustainability and climate change, and mobility migration. And you see, it's also noted that, some certain human rights, although a lot of people had said it contained the LGBTQ clause in the agreement. So this generated a lot of controversies that it seems that the government wants to empower the LGBTQ community through this Samoa agreement. And the National Assembly, that's the House of Reps, they've said no. They've asked Tinubu's government to suspend that agreement first so that they can do some investigations into it. They can investigate further before they approve that Samoa agreement. So guys, what are your thoughts on this? This is coming as the Nigerian government publicly debunked the news that it contained an LGBTQ clause, although the government had vowed and threatened that they would sue Daily Trust for misleading the public that the Samoa agreement contained the LGBTQ clause, and they've also told Nigerians to disregard that information. Although this information now has generated a lot of controversies, and it would be hard that people get it off their minds, it won't be easy. So the government needs to prove to Nigerians further that it doesn't contain any LGBTQ clause, because when they saw gender equality, for male, for female, other persons and all of that. So a lot of people had been translating that particular aspect as the LGBTQ clause. And this is not accepted in Nigeria. Those that are caught practicing the LGBTQ, it's practically 14 years imprisonment, and it's not acceptable in Nigeria. So people thought that Tinubu wanted to introduce this to the country through the back door by the Samoa agreement. So it generated controversy, and this has brought a lot of discussions amongst Nigerians. So these are reactions from Nigerians. Tinubu is a disgrace to himself. For once, the lawmakers are doing their job. It is a shame that any leader in Africa would subscribe to the LGBTQ rights, because it is promised food supply in continents full of arable lands. We all know that the LGBTQ right is satanic, and our traditions and culture do not accept it. People are dying of hunger, and politicians are talking about what does not matter. Well, it seems that Tinubu is the king of Nigeria. But let's see how it plays out. The former president Muhammad Buhari also tried doing this. It seems that they want to take advantage of us. Okay guys, these are reactions from Nigerians. So my country people, I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts on this in the comments section. Thank you.